Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, if you're new to BMX or you haven't noticed throughout the years, the end of the year and the beginning of a new one brings a lot of sponsorship news. So we have a ton of different things to talk about. We're going to start with the bad and then move to the good. So we've got 3 people not riding for companies that they previously were. The first one is kind of the biggest shock. Ryan Nyquist is off of Rockstar. After 13 years riding for them, he no longer does now. And it's kind of crazy to see because Nyquist is still absolutely killing it. He's amazing on his bike still. He's definitely representing them just as good, if not better, than anybody else on the team with everything that he does on social media. So it's crazy to see. Then we've got Michael Laren also off of Rockstar. Then we've got Daniel Wiedemeyer off of Red Bull. And that concludes the off news. Now we can move to the on and good news. We've got Brett Silva and Talon Pemberton now riding for Empire, the bike shop down in Austin, Texas. Then we've got Corey Nastasio on Fit. Yes, Nasty rides for Fit now. How sick is that? It's so awesome, and I think you guys will agree with me on here, to see these older guys in BMX being represented still. I know we just talked about Nyquist being off Rockstar, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a core BMX company like Fit representing and supporting someone like Corey Nastasio. I think he's like 40 something at this point. He's still doing double backflips and 720s and all the crazy stuff that he does by himself, I might add, at the age that he's at. He's absolutely at the top of his game. It seems like he might be better than he ever has been before. So to see someone like Fit scoop him up and support him just gets me excited for what they might do and how they might help him and what they might work on together. It feels like it was just yesterday, even though it was probably a year or more now ago, that I did a live stream just simply asking the question of whether or not older BMX riders were underrepresented or looked over in mainstream BMX. And a lot of people agree with me on that. It got a bunch of views on it, it went all over Facebook, and there was a lot of people who agreed that these older guys were kind of overlooked at that point, and it's super cool to see, fast forwarding to now, these guys who are being picked up and now riding for these companies. The only thing left, I feel, at this point is to have someone who's never been sponsored in their life but is older get picked up by a legit BMX company. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who definitely deserve it, and to see that would just solidify the fact that older BMX riders are killing it. They have value to bring to companies, which they absolutely do, and to see someone get hooked up like that would be awesome. My pick would be Alan Sidley over in the UK. The dude can blast airs. He can do tabletops and turn downs 6-7 foot out of a hip in a bowl. And then he can turn around and do the craziest lip tricks that you've ever seen. So someone like that, and he's like 47 years old. It's crazy. It's so crazy how good this dude is. And speaking of him, he did win the Ride On BMX Facebook group Rider of the Year, which is really, really awesome to see. But someone like that being hooked up in BMX, I feel would just make it that much cooler to see a range, because we truly don't even know yet how old people can be and still ride BMX. Mendo from over in Russia, I think it was, 68 years old, started when he was 62. BMX has a bright future and I'm excited for it. So next up, we've got Jaron Barboza on Volume's Pro Team. We've got Corey Walsh on Odyssey. I didn't see that one coming even slightly, but he is Corey Walsh, and you guys all know how amazing he is on his bike. So it's no surprise that he deserves this spot. It was just not something I had ever thought of yet. And this video that comes with this is 49 seconds long with a few different clips in here, with the last one being Corey doing a tire slide on a clamshell setup that is like super oververt, like curves over clamshell, if you know what I mean. You don't watch the video. He does a tire slide on the top of it. Something that people have probably thought about, but most people, if not anyone except Corey Walsh and a few select others, would be too scared to try. And then we've got Casey Starling's Welcome to Kink Pro video. Casey is someone that I've talked highly about in the past, so it's really good to see him getting this bump to Kink Pro. And this video, man, this is one that if you haven't seen it yet, you have to watch it. This and the fact that he's on Kink Pro now kind of just solidifies it for me. I mean, Casey, I feel, is one of those riders who, like, everyone knows how amazing he is, but he's still somehow like underrated in BMX. I don't quite understand that. He's the kind of person that like just, he can do anything he wants on his bike. He does a double whip over a concrete bank hip in the streets in this video. He does a fakie to front flip on a wedge. It had a little bit of concrete to smooth the transition, but it was still a wedge. He does a flare to backlash in the streets, a 360 tail whip down a drop in the streets. It's insane the stuff this dude could do, and it seems like it's just easy for him. So a huge congratulations definitely goes out to Casey. He's put the work in and he's earned it, and he's finally made it happen. The news of him being bumped to Kink also brought a written interview over on Vital BMX called Get to Know Casey Starling, Kink's newest pro, where there's a bunch of questions of background, how he got onto Kink in the first place, what he's doing, why he moved to Texas, his full-time job situation that he recently quit in order to fully focus on BMX. So I think the future is very bright for Casey Starling, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. So that's it for the sponsorship news so far. I'm sure that we're going to see more in the next couple of weeks, but now we have the winner of the USL BMX Blow Up the Park contest. Brock Rayford won it. He won the $1,500. He won the trophy made by Denham Cox, and he took home the W in the USL BMX Blow Up the Park contest. And honestly, Brock's video wasn't one that was on my radar for the top 3, but then you go back and watch it again after seeing that he won, and it is totally understandable why he did win and why so many people voted him for that place. There's also the Source BMX judge favorite pick here. So Source BMX put up $500 for a judge's favorite. All of the judges watched the videos together. There's 3 judges, Zach Kramus, Dan Crook, and Eddie Cuellar, and they all put in their rating out of 10 for each video, which was combined for a total score, and Gary Young ended up on top in that one, which is so cool to see because Gary was interchangeable between Matt Ray kind of for me for 1 and 2, and they put Gary on top for their favorite. So Gary Young walked away with $500 out of this, and I'm excited to see what the Blow Up the Streets contest in the future looks like, as well as the rooftop skyscraper game of bike that they just announced will be happening. That is going to be insane to watch, and Francis Castro, the guy behind USL BMX, being a video person and being on the top of a skyscraper means you know some crazy video is going to come out of this. And that brings us into the videos from this week. I'll be honest, there's not a bunch of these that I want to talk super in depth about, but there's a couple that I really got stoked on. So the first one comes from someone that you might not have ever heard of before, and it only has 224 views at the time of recording this. But the dude's name is Joel Sutton. It's called Mask Off, and he's at Mike's Bike Park in Dayton, Ohio. And what made me so psyched on this video is the fact that this dude is pretty much riding street in this place. He's using picnic tables and different obstacles that don't really look like they were designed with riding in mind, like doing gaps to grinds on railings and then doing spins out, or how he uses a picnic table on this setup to do an alley-oop to fakie wall ride on this picnic table to half cab out to a wall ride that's like against something. It's so hard to explain, but he's using setups inside of an indoor skate park, and it is really, really awesome. But then he's also doing tricks like a one-handed no-footed can, a pendulum, he's doing a rocket tail whip over a box jump, and then there's the last clip. So there's a small box jump line, and then between pillars, it seems like there's like big ratchet straps put in there so that people don't transfer over and cross over lines to potentially hurt somebody. That part doesn't matter, but what matters is the fact that this dude jumps out of the lip of one of these box jumps, double peg, stall, or slides, whatever you want to call it, on the ratchet strap thing while it bounces, and then he jumps off and lands in the landing of the jump, and it is just so cool. It's like satisfying to watch, honestly. So check this video out. I definitely think anyone can enjoy this one, and let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. And then we've got a video with Chris Childs called Running Out of Daylight. This one, if you know Chris Childs riding, you know what you're in for with it, but if you don't or you forgot, this one has such a cool vibe to it. It's like, it's just raw. From the music to the camera work, it's just raw. And then the fact that this dude is doing like burly stuff at night is so crazy. If you've ever tried to ride your bike in the dark, you better like have a grip on what you're doing, or it's highly likely that you're gonna crash, while Chris Childs is out there doing second stage handrails in the dark. so insane. This one's definitely worth a watch, and I recommend you check it out. Then after that, we've got a bunch of other videos that I want to list off for you. So we've got a video with Hobie Doan from Our BMX called Spot Crusher. The concept behind that is 3 different spots with 5 tricks at each of the spots, and the mixture of behind the scenes footage with the riding for only like a little over a 3-minute video was definitely really cool to watch. So check that one out. Then we've got Hobie Doan, Brandon Began, and Mike Hoder, first session of 2021, also on Our BMX. Then we've got Anthony Catlow's end of 2020 video from Merritt. Anthony Catlow, another East Coast dude that I feel is super underrated. The dude has skill, so check him out if you want to. Then we've got a video with Hoder called Hoder 1 from Dig. Then we've got Whammo and Tallboy in New York City from S&M, followed by Sabrosa's Quarantine Volume 3, which is a little bit longer one for anyone who might want a longer video. Then we've got some interviews and the Flatland video of the week. This is Terry Adams, More Than Motivated, and it's less of an interview and more of like a behind the scenes vlog type video documenting a day in his life, as well as some perspectives on things from Terry himself. And then we've got another written interview over on Vital BMX with Andy Buckworth about milestone tricks. There's 5 different milestone tricks for him in there, and he talks about those in the interview. So with that, let me know your guys' thoughts on Corey Anastasio riding for Fit Now, as well as whether or not you think mainstream BMX, or you've noticed mainstream BMX having an uptick in their support for older riders, or anything else that you guys might have thoughts on that I talked about today. And if you're not, or you're new here, hit the subscribe button while you're down there. Thank you for watching.